my hair.
What's up, everybody?
That's where I wear a hat. Welcome to the Bobby Drew Show. Oh man, what a big day for everybody. I mean, there was a lot going on today. We had the eclipse. We got the NCAA championship going on. And as you can see over here, over here, Dave's title has changed. The ESPN TT champ, tournament challenge champ. We're going to talk about that in a little bit, but we want to talk about the solar eclipse because that was a big thing. That was a really big thing. We're here in Florida, and here in Florida, we only got like 59% that coverage or whatever that means, you know. But Brian, they got a little bit more, and I saw some pictures of all kinds of stuff. It was pretty wild. So didn't we have one back in 2017?
Yep, we did.
Do you guys know when the next one will be?
Well, in America, the next one will be 2044, but in a couple of years, there'll be one in France. Now, the one in 2044 is actually going to have 6 minutes of totality, which is almost twice as long. So that would be kind of crazy. That's a long time to be in the dark in the middle of the day.
Well,
so I'll be 49. I'll still see it. I'm good. As long as the Lord has returned.
I'll still see it.
Yeah.
That's in 20 years from now?
Yeah.
Dave, how old will you be?
Me?
Older.
I'll be 20 years older than I am right now.
There you go. Did anybody
How many championships will Dallas have?
0.
by the next solar eclipse?
Oh, no.
Speaking of that, I got a picture we could show here. I saw this and I thought it was hilarious.
Oh no.
Oh,
bro, that's harsh.
How many eclipses have there been since Dallas has won the Super Bowl?
I know of at least 2.
That's how many I would like to. I would like to know that. But hey, as it's looking right now, I want to talk about the UFL in a little bit. I don't think the Roughnecks are going to get a championship before the Cowboys. It's not looking too good. Maybe the Renegades, but I don't know what they're looking like either. I have to look, but I don't know. It's a race now. It's a race. There's a lot of pressure on the Cowboys to win a championship. But did any of us go outside to look at the eclipse?
I did.
Brian, did you have glasses for it?
I can't look. I didn't really look per se at it. I mean, I wait till after, but I went outside and we were shooting baskets, and it legitimately turned into nighttime here because where we are in Kentucky, like 50 miles north in Seymour, Indiana, they were 100% totality. We were between 97 and 98. So trust me when I say it went from day to night. It was pretty surreal. I mean, there's definitely a God out there, and he was reminding us how small we are, and you know how quick he can be like, all right, we're done. You know, it kind of puts into realization like, okay, Lord, I know you're there, and I appreciate you.
Yeah, for sure. David, would you like to tell us your experience?
Yeah,
well, here in Florida, Tampa Bay area, I noticed this. We had a clear day in our area, and I did notice it went dim a little bit. It wasn't, I noticed it happening, but it was very subtle. And I did get out of my car and stare straight up at the sun to no avail. All it did was hurt. And so then I took my phone and I was trying to shine it up at the sun and take pictures of it without looking at the sun. But I tell you what, I got some really cool pictures. I don't. That was after.
And that's the effect of looking without glasses.
Yeah.
Wait, can I move it? Let me see if I can move it over. There we go.
Yeah, there. Okay, Dave, talk.
Okay.
There's Dave.
Can you do that thing where you make my mouth move in the middle, like just?
Oh, that would be great.
Like you edit out the mouth part, so you
Just
just
have you
see like my
talking.
mouth, talking.
Oh man, that's so funny. Listen, I don't know. It's been a while since I've stared directly at the sun, and
Not recommended.
I guess I forgot how kind of how bright it is, or maybe it was brighter today than usual because it was before the eclipse was happening. I was outside, I was doing some yard work, and I knew it hadn't happened yet. So I was like, all right, let me just take a peek. I took a peek, and I have not been the same since. Something's changed. Something's changed here. I just don't feel right. I don't. It changed my whole body. But
I don't know what's wrong with us. Just for fun, let's stare at the sun.
Yeah, makes great sense. Do not try that at home, kids, please.
Yeah,
this is not advice. I do not advise this, but we did do it in high school. Me and some of my friends stood outside, stared at the sun, and had a competition who could stare the longest. And you know what's worse than staring at the sun? Staring at that T-shirt. That's worse than staring.
Staring at your T-shirt.
Yeah. No. Well, your T-shirt's fine.
Don't even insult my shirt.
The only reason why I'm doing that, everybody, is I'm trying to stay calm because we're getting close to game time. It's 2 hours, and
we are.
The hype is hyping.
And before we get to that, let's get into the word of the Lord, shall we?
Amen.
Yes, sir.
Speaking of the eclipse, oh yes.
What doesn't belong in this picture?
One of these things is not like the other.
This should be one of those captcha things. Can you spot the heads that don't have hair? Anyways, John chapter 8, verse 12. This is after Jesus performs a miracle and he forgives somebody of their sins. But then he says, Then spake Jesus again unto them, saying, I am the light of the world. He that followeth me shall not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life. That's John chapter 8, verse 12. And I thought of that scripture today, with the solar eclipse taking place, and the light was suddenly gone. And Brian, you kind of alluded to it, that just like that, it was gone. But no need to fret, because the Lord is the light of the world. So even if the light stops shining on earth, we still got the light in our hearts and in our lives, and that is through Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Let's clap our hands. Praise the Lord. Thank you, Jesus. Awesome. Well, oh man, I don't remember what we're talking about first. Baseball is still going on. If I remember right, there was a no-no last week.
Yeah, by an Astros pitcher when the Astros got swept by the Queens. Give me a break. What a joke. I mean, come on.
So dumb. I don't remember what the schedule was. Yeah, they remind me, guys. What was next on the list?
We're going to talk about a top 5 list.
Oh, we want to talk about Stephon Diggs first.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to talk about. If you've been sleeping under a rock, you have not heard about this. It happened last week after our show. I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday it happened. Stephon Diggs got traded from the Buffalo Bills to the Houston Texans. And you may have seen our post. I said Houston is a problem because now they have Tank Dell, they have Nico Collins, and Stephon Diggs. That's a big, big wide receiver core.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about Tank Dell, but I know Nico and Stephon, those are 2 number ones. Those are wide receiver ones. Tank Dell, maybe on a particular team, he could be a number 1, but I mean, you have 2 number 1s. That's a problem for any defense. What defense has 3 defensive backs that can cover 3 top-tier wide receivers? None.
That's not only that, too, with them picking up Joe Mixon, and he can come out of the backfield and catch, too. What linebacker are you putting on Mixon? Good luck with that, because and then you have
Stroud at quarterback.
I mean, good luck. They could be the new Chiefs. I'm not even saying that to be silly, but because that defense is legit.
You know what?
Go ahead, Dave.
I'm ready to see a new Chiefs. I'm ready to see somebody else start dominating.
Yep.
Yeah. I texted you guys. I was like, the Houston Texans are going to the Super Bowl. And honestly, there's no with what they got going on. But then you got the Ravens. They picked up Derrick Henry, so they added to. But I don't know, man.
They're going to be good.
It's not like Stephon Diggs is like on his retirement year or
He's only
anything.
30. I mean, he's not that old.
No, he's still got juice left. And now look at the Bills. It's Josh Allen and who else? They have nobody.
Josh Allen, Curtis Samuel. That's their receiver.
Why did they get
Curtis Samuel? Come on.
Why did Stephon Diggs get dealt?
Because he wasn't getting along with Josh Allen, and I think it was more the head coach. That head coach is, he's wasting Josh Allen. That's all I'm saying.
You think he's going to go in to Houston and get along with everybody if he's not getting the ball?
To prove a point, but he'll get the ball. He's going to prove a point. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Because he wants to prove a point for sure. Yep, I do.
Good for him.
Josh Allen's probably going to have to play defense too because they've lost defense.
Yep.
Bro. Yep. Well, that will help your Patriots though, Brian. So
yeah, a little bit. Bro, NFL, schmenFL, any I'm about one thing today. Let's go on to his top 5 list.
Yeah, we need to move on. We should move on to your top 5 list, Dave, because I'm ready to dissect this thing. I'm very curious about what's going on. So this is not the Bobby Drew Show's top 5 wide receivers. This is Dave's top 5 wide receivers. So Dave, I'm gonna keep us on the screen because I want to get our reactions.
All right.
You take it away.
I'm gonna start at the bottom and work my way up. And I'm gonna say this: there would be a lot of honorable mentions. The guys that didn't make the list, some people might question, but I'm gonna start here. Number 5, Brandon Ayuk. What? Wow. All right. Best route runner on the team. Okay. Great out after the catch. He's awesome. He is better than Deebo Samuel. Yes. He is better than Deebo.
Oh, Lord.
Not to mention, he has the 4th best quarterback in the NFL throwing him the ball. And listen, he averages, Bobby Drew, listen to me. He averages almost 18 yards per catch. All right. 75 catches last year, over 1,300 yards, 7 touchdowns. His touchdowns numbers aren't high, but they don't need him to score touchdowns because they've got other guys. Like, who was that guy that you picked for your fantasy team? I can't remember.
CMC.
What's his name?
McCaffrey.
Yes. Okay, you don't agree with me?
You just go ahead.
Whatever. Okay.
Yep.
Number 4, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Okay. Lions, 119 catches last year, over 1,500 yards, 10 touchdowns. Jared Goff likes him. He's great out of the slot. He's got really good hands. Okay. He's my number 4. I don't know if you're going to agree with this one or not because there's kind of an asterisk by it. But Justin Jefferson, all right? Now, he was injured last year, and he only played 10 games. But even in the 10 games, he still had over 1,000 yards. In 10 games played, he led the league in 22, 128 catches, over 1,800 yards. And he's – the only thing is I'm worried about who's his quarterback next year.
Doesn't matter. He's that good. Nah.
If the ball can get to him.
Mike Evans is a Hall of Fame receiver, and the only good quarterback he had was Tom Brady for 2 years. So,
listen. Well, okay, I got you. But that being said, there's a perfect example. Mike Evans didn't make my list.
Mine either.
Although he has been one of the most consistent and underrated wideouts in the league. Mm-hmm. All right, number 2, CeeDee Lamb. Okay. All right, I'm getting a little bit of agreement. Last year, led the league, 135 receptions, in receptions anyway, 1,749 yards, 12 touchdowns. The cool thing about CeeDee Lamb, 4 years in a row, every year he improves his receptions, yardage, and touchdowns increase every single year. So is he capped out, or is it gonna get better next year? I don't know. He's my number 2. Number 1.
Don't say it.
Number 1.
Adam Thielen.
Chris Godwin. No, I'm just kidding.
I was gonna say, yeah, you're
just kidding.
Done yet, is it?
I like Chris Godwin. He's the number 2. He's a good number 2 behind Evans. Listen, I got to go with Tyreek Hill. No, listen, he's 30. Okay, he's a nightmare off the field. Okay, but he's not slowing down. He's still the fastest guy. He makes highlights every week. Okay, he's a huge threat down the field. Nobody can keep up with him. Nobody can catch him. Nobody's slowing him down. He's my number 1. All right, that's it.
Good list. Good list. I'll jump in real quick and then I'll let Bobby do. Not too long. I'm going to tell you right now, I will give you A-. Now, I was going to give you a B+, but you did have 4 of the 5 that I have on there. Your order's a little whack. Tyreek Hill is not the number 1 receiver anymore because he's been exposed. But when you said Brandon Ayuk at number 5, I lost my lunch. Dude, so you left out Devontae Adams. You left out Jamar Chase. Okay, these are people. You left out Michael Pittman.
Yeah,
I understand what you're saying, but top 5, you're telling me you would take Brandon Ayuk over Jamar Chase?
Listen.
No. Yes or no? Think about it.
I'm not talking about fantasy points
I'm
here.
talking about reality.
Listen, what I'm looking at is not. I'm looking at a bunch of different things. Not only their stats year by year, what's going on, but also who's throwing them the ball, where what they're okay.
Wait a second.
I'm also looking at who are the other receivers on the team. Okay.
What?
Jamar Chase is awesome. I'm going to pick him in my draft next year. Okay. Unless somebody gets to him first.
It's fair.
All right. Brandon Ayuk is good. And he's better than Debo.
Oh, sorry. I froze there for a second. Anyway, we'll go with that. I mean, again, I'm giving you an A-. It's better than your last list. The other 4 I had on mine too, but Tyreek Hill's not number 1. My list has Jefferson, Lamb, Hill, Devontae Adams, and Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Devontae Adams. Okay. You know what?
I
put some thought into Devontae Adams. And you think
yes.
You think he's going to be better this year than
yeah.
I just think he's been a frustrated player and we've not been getting the best out of him.
But yeah, he still produced. Listen, your list. I gave you an A-. I mean, your list is
I'm
really
proud
good.
of it. I know Bobby Drew's going to give me.
No, I'm going to stop talking after this. I'm just going to say I'm giving you an A-. Brandon Ayuk is a stretch over the 3 that I talked about.
I'll take it.
Good job. I like it, Dave. Good job.
Well, first of all, you said you made a dumb comment. You said, I'm also looking at who's throwing him the ball. So you're saying Joe Burrow is worse than Brock Purdy?
I'm telling you, I would take Brock Purdy over Joe Burrow.
There's no way that you're saying,
bro.
There's no way you're saying that Brandon Ayuk is better than Deebo Samuel.
What do you have against Brock Purdy?
He's not better than Joe Burrow. Nothing against him, but if you put Joe Burrow with that team, oh my Lord. Dave, you have to understand. You do have to understand there's nothing against Brock Purdy. But athletic and scheme-wise, Joe Burrow would make him look like an elementary school teacher. He just would. I mean, Brock Purdy is going to go bag groceries somewhere. I mean, Joe Burrow is this guy he's a surgeon on the field. You give him CMC, you give him Debo, you give him Ayuk, you give him Kittle, you give him Juszczyk. I mean, he's going to go ballistic. I mean, they even have Jennings. We're not even talking about Jennings. You put Joe, and granted, I would say injury thing, but Brock Purdy got hurt too. So I mean,
yeah, I'm sorry. Got hurt in the NFC Championship game.
Yeah, so way to just throw your arm out there, Gumby.
Whatever. It's not like he was a pitcher throwing a ball and breaking his own arm.
I'll
right.
stop talking. I like your list. I want to hear what else Bobby Drew has to say.
All right, go Bobby.
I mean, I'm pretty much in agreement with Brian here. Like, the other four are perfectly fine. I have no problem. I mean, the order can be debated, but the other four are good. Brandon Ayuk has no business being in the top 5.
No.
Okay, if you agree with my 4, then who's your 5th pick? Whatever place he's in. Who did I miss?
It would be like Devontae Adams, Jamar Chase. I would put Cooper Kupp before Brandon Ayuk.
No,
what about Puka Nacua?
Yeah,
Puka Nacua. Yeah, he was there. He was there.
No, he wasn't.
Well, yeah,
now he is, because I reminded you.
No. It came down to Brandon Ayuk and Puka Nacua. The reason why is because I'm looking at their quarterback.
Okay.
And that's why I chose Ayuk over.
Because you think Brock Purdy's a top 4 quarterback, so that's why you're jaded. I mean, he's not top 4, bro. He's not. But listen, A-, dude. I gave you a B last time. A- for this list. I'm giving you props, dude. Good job, Dave. And listen, you had stats to back it up too, so it's not like you just threw names in there. So you did your homework. Much love to you. Next week, Bobby Drew's got to come up with a list because, he's got to start the list next week.
Here we go. Josh Mercado in the comments. He says, "What? You guys are literally blind. How many playoffs Purdy been to? Super Bowls? What about Joe?"
Yeah, what about Joe?
Joe Burrow's been there.
Yeah.
He was there 2 years ago. And
Joe,
lost to the Rams.
Joe Burrow hurt his little finger and couldn't throw a ball. Man up and already had knee injury. Dude is rookie with the body of a 50-year-old. Wow, that's some personal attacks there on Joe Burrow.
Well, I'm trying to think here. Let me see. Joe Burrow was the greatest college quarterback of all time and won a national title. How many chips does Brock Purdy have? I'll wait.
Yeah.
At any level.
Whatever. He's okay. Listen, you keep talking about all the what ifs. Put any other player on the 49ers and they're better than Joe Burrow. The thing is, it is what it is. Who's Joe Burrow got on his team?
Jamar Chase.
He had T. Higgins.
Yeah.
And
Tyler Boyd. Now they don't. Who's their running back now? The Joe Mixon. No, I agree.
Let's just talk about last year.
Right. Well, last year, and then he had Joe Mixon. I mean, he had a good team last year. He got hurt. Yeah, he's glass. But we're talking about receivers. I would not if I'm told pick 5 receivers to start my team. Brandon Ayuk's not on my list. That's the only.
All right. Well, poor Brandon. What's my score there, Bobby?
Yeah. What'd you give him? What grade?
I'm going to give you a B+.
You know what?
He can't throw the A.
But listen, we're going to put this to bed real quick because I got a stat comparison between Joe Burrow and Brock Purdy pulled up. We're going to put this to bed, and then we're going to move on to real football, the UFL. All right. So Brock Purdy has played 25 games. Burrow has played 52. So just double everything that Purdy has, and it'll be the same if we copied it. So completion percentage, they're both at 68%. Purdy has 5,600 pass yards. Joe Burrow has 14,000. A whole $4,000 yards more than Brock Purdy.
Brock Purdy also has Christian
What?
CMC.
Yeah, well, Joe Burrow had Joe Mixon, so whatever.
Not the same. So 49ers run the ball better. He didn't have to throw it as much.
Pass yards game, Joe Burrow 270, Brock Purdy 226. Passing touchdowns 97 for Burrow, 44 for Purdy. Interceptions 37 for Burrow and 15 for Brock Purdy. And then rushing attempts.
He's better.
Burrow's got him beat. 183 rushing attempts Purdy 61. Rush yards 605 for Burrow, 157 for Purdy. And Burrow has 10 rushing touchdowns, and Purdy has 3. They've both been to the Pro Bowl one time. They have 0 championships. They've been, but both of them have 0. So the championship conversation doesn't even matter because they both have 0.
He's as good. I think he's better.
He's not as good.
Not as good.
He's literally not. It's like he's literally not. It's just not there.
Bro, listen. You just wait. We're going to have the same conversation this time next year. Write it down, one of you.
Okay.
We'll circle back to this.
All right.
Next year will be a test year for the Burrow and Purdy conversation, and we will keep track of this. And actually, Dave, you are required, as of right now, as the commissioner of our fantasy football league, you are required to have Brock Purdy on your team next year.
Writing that down.
Right. Anyways,
moving on.
Let's move on. Let's talk UFL real quick because we did pick our favorite teams last week. So I'm gonna put the scores from last week up on the board, and we'll see how our teams fared this weekend. I know mine did not fare that well. The Brahmas beat the Showboats 20-19. That's a good score. And Arlington Renegades fall to the St. Louis Battlehawks 27-24. The Birmingham Stallions, they win 20-13. The Houston Roughnecks lose to the DC Defenders 23-18. That's the scores for this past week. What I have noticed between last week or the opening week and this past weekend, and all these games are really, really close. They've been really close scoring games. Brian, you said you watched one of these games. Which one did you watch?
Yeah, I watched San Antonio and Memphis, and I absolutely loved it. Like, San Antonio scored 20 points, it seemed like, in like 5 minutes. So there was, I don't know, like 2 minutes ago, and Memphis was up 19-8. And San Antonio went down and scored, and then they went ahead and they tried, for the 2-point conversion, and they didn't get it. So you have a choice in the UFL. You can kick it off, or you can go for it on your 25, a 4th and 12. Is it? Yeah, 4 or like the 28 or something, but it's on your side of the field. So if you don't get it, the other team gets the ball and they're pretty much going to score. So they knew this is the only way they had it because they had one timeout left. So they had to convert a 4th and 12. It's basically called a 4th and 12. So San Antonio, whose quarterback is me, like literally didn't do anything all game. So whatever reason, Memphis decided not to play defense. They let them go to the 40-yard line where they had to get for the first down. Dude catches the ball on a 4th and 12, and they boom, boom, boom down the field, and then they score to win with like no timeouts, less than like 30-something seconds. The next pass after that, they hit their big receiver, whatever his name is, 80, Everson, something like that, on a slant, and he ran it like 25 yards. And if you look, one of the Memphis defensive backs was kind of like, oh, I'm not going to tackle him. I'm just going to run. Like there was no effort whatsoever. Like if I'm the coach and I saw that, I'm not even joking. Like he didn't even try to catch him. Like he was jogging. Like, dude, you're still winning. He didn't even try. The guy literally ran out of bounds for a 22-yard gain. Then the quarterback threw a perfect pass in the end zone. They scored with like 3 seconds to go. So it put them up 20-19. And then there's a bunch of penalties. And so they had to do it for 2 points from the 10-yard line. Now, this was smart because instead of going for it, because there was 3 seconds left, they literally just took the knee and then they kicked it off and they won the game. Because go for it and you turn it over or something, the other team can get it and score. So that was smart coaching. He just told his quarterback, stand up, take a knee, and then they ran out of time.
Nice.
Pretty cool. That was cool. 4th and 12, you go for it. So, I mean, that's the only chance they had. Imagine the NFL doing that, huh? Like, what's the chance of getting an onside kick anyway? So, like, 4th and 12, it gives your offense the opportunity instead of, like, your hands team. Like, on the onside kick, what's the chance of that? But 4th and 12, and then they got it, and it was pretty cool. And then they just kept going. They went down and scored. They couldn't stop them.
Sounds like Dan Campbell was coaching that team. That's what it sounds like. Next week, in week 3. We got the DC Defenders against the Arlington Renegades. That's on Saturday. Memphis Showboats against the Birmingham Stallions. The Houston Roughnecks against the Michigan Panthers. The St. Louis Battlehawks versus the San Antonio Brahmas. So that's next week. So I'm going to try to pay attention to that a little bit more this weekend and watch a game. What I did see from my team, the Roughnecks, is that our offensive line is trash. We need to get that fixed pronto. I don't know what they got to do, but those guys need to practice more because they were not good. They were getting bum rushed. It was crazy. Well, anyways, that's the UFL for this week. And there was some pretty amazing highlights. We weren't able to get it to show here. Maybe we'll have some next week. But there were some one-handed catches in the end zones to win the game. That's how the Roughnecks lost. Like, it was a ridiculous circus catch, one-handed, so on and so on. But that's enough football for today. Dave, oh, man, we are so proud of you. I actually think I have something for you. Let me see 1 second. I think I have something for you. Here we go. Yes.
What's up?
You're the ESPN TC champ.
Yeah. That's right. Recognize.
Yeah, recognize that. So, you're the TC champ. I'm going to pull up the bracket here. Dave, you are our guest right now. We're going to interview you. We're going to ask you some questions, like bring us through the process. This is your first ever tournament challenge bracket you've ever built. You've never won a college game in your life.
Right.
So you're going into this very inexperienced, but the result would show otherwise. So was there some point in your life that you did watch college basketball?
No, I have never watched a college basketball game, even up to this point. Now, I have seen bits and pieces, maybe when I'm at the restaurant and the TV's on up there, or there was one time I was over at your house, Bobby Drew, and the game was on in the background. But here's the thing. I am not a college basketball kind of a fan, all right? But what I am is I'm a guy that listens. I pay attention, okay? I had no idea who UConn was until Mr. Bryan here representing, okay? I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know what UConn stands for. All right? I'm sure it's University of something.
Connecticut.
Okay. All right. That's what I thought, but I wasn't positive. Either way, I pay attention. And when it came to the bracket, I've never done this before. I've never even heard of it before until you brought it up. So what I did, I put my trust in the experts. And I looked at the team rankings. All right. So when I went to pick, I chose for every bracket, I chose the higher ranked team. And then when the brackets were really close, or the rankings were really close in that bracket, I went for the upset. Now that bit me a couple of times, but it worked for me a couple of times. But some of the upsets that I missed, everybody missed. So it didn't hurt me. But at any rate, I think I might be the only one in our league that got the championship game. I picked the bracket correctly, Purdue and UConn.
So
did not?
I did. No, you did, but I did too.
You got. Mm-hmm. Oh, but you picked Purdue to lose.
Well, they are going to lose.
No. Who do you have in? Is that yours or mine? Who are we looking at here?
This is your pick, Dave.
Yes. I'm going for UConn. The two number one ranked teams, UConn wins over Purdue. Brian, I'm asking you, is this the matchup you came up with in the championship game?
Yeah, but me getting there was a lot worse than you getting there. Like,
Oh, I
you
see.
see, I'm not as smart as you. So, like some of these schools, like Gonzaga, I didn't know what state they played in. St. Mary's, Colgate. I didn't like. You know
So
where all these schools play. You know the states that they play in. I'm not as smart as
th- this is the thing, Brian. This is what happened. Because I'm not as familiar with these teams as you are, you put too much thought into it.
Oh, okay.
You thought way too much. You
All
just
right.
overthought the whole thing and you picked wrong.
Okay.
But it's all right. Don't feel bad.
Oh, I'll try not to. I'll try not to.
Don't feel bad because I think it is funny that we even talked about this. We said watch and see how funny this would be if I won this whole bracket out of the group, and I'm like the only one in the group that I know nothing about college.
Yeah.
So
you have 100% chance to win. I mean,
yeah.
I as the sports guy really can learn a lot from you. So I'm gonna actually print out your bracket. I'm gonna study it. I'm gonna
No,
analyze it. The wisdom that you use for each team to pick, and I'm gonna apply it next year. And I'm gonna say, you know what, this is gonna work. This
you know
is
what?
gonna work.
Hey, you know what? How many brackets did you do? I only did this one. You guys each did like 10.
I did 17. So what's your point?
Did you do any better in any of the other ones?
Oh yeah, I did.
Did you beat me? Would any of the other ones have beaten me?
I'll have to go back and look. I know on one of them I'm like 61,000 or something out of the 22 million.
Dave, we're here to talk about the winners, not the losers. Okay, that's what we're here to talk about. So I'm looking through your picks here, and I see a lot of green. There's only one area that you struggled in right here, and it was you got a lot of red in this one. That was like the biggest area you struggled in there. But outside of that, there's a lot of green here.
Sure is.
So like, walk me through this. A lot of people maybe picked TCU over Utah State, so on and so on. So if you can walk me through this real quick, like you foresaw Gonzaga beating Kansas. Did you see that, or did you thought the whole time that Kansas was going to win, or like you picked Kansas in this one and they got whooped? Walk us through this decision here. Why did you pick Kansas?
Where are you at?
Right here.
Right there. I can't see it. I'm trying to look on my screen.
Oh, it's right here.
Oh. Okay.
So
I'm with you now.
You picked Kansas to win
Over Gonzaga.
and they got whooped.
Now, so
Yeah.
when you picked Kansas to win, you knew that their starting center was hurt and their best player wasn't playing, right? You knew they were out for Kansas, but yet you went ahead and picked them.
No, it's because I got away from my rankings upset, and that was close enough. I should have went for the upset.
Gotcha.
But I didn't.
Fair. Mm-hmm.
Well,
so what?
You did a fantastic job, Dave.
You did.
I mean, it's pretty incredible. Your first year doing a tournament challenge bracket, and here you are. You're top tier. You're number one in our bracket. You're number one in our group. Oh my gosh, what am I doing here? Wrong one. You're number one in our group, and you have 100% chance to win.
Yep.
Literally, nobody is going to be able to beat you.
You know what? Yeah.
Even if Purdue wins, it doesn't matter.
We won't speak that here. We don't say that.
Yeah. Listen, I think the funnest part for me was to go through this and see all the celebrity, even like the sports professional celebrity people that I am better than.
It happens, man. Yep.
It is pretty impressive.
It proves right there that a broken clock is right twice a day. Good job, Dave.
Yeah.
Bro, also, listen. Yeah.
Go ahead, Dave.
Broken clock. That means okay. Yeah. How many, bro? I had to pick how many. I don't even know. 64, 32, 16, then the 8, final 4, whatever. I had to pick so many. I did way better. I'm like 100 times better than a broken clock.
I have a question though.
Grade me on my deal here.
No,
what's my grade?
Did you really make these picks or did your wife?
You know what? I'm insulted by that. But I do think it is amazing that you're questioning whether my wife is better than you.
No,
And
listen,
I would give it to her.
Absolutely, absolutely. I just want to make sure because you're talking a lot of gibberish. I just want to make sure it shouldn't be your wife on here talking smack.
I think you are being very facetious, and you're not giving me my due credit.
All right,
I'm going to give you a grade.
You beat me, but I'm not the worst one on this screen. I did better than someone else on this screen, so whatever.
Dave, I give you an A+.
Oh, I'm honored. It's because you have to.
Yeah, he's got no choice.
Yeah, that's the reason why I can't give you anything else. I mean, I was literally almost at the bottom. So, but you know what? I wasn't at the bottom of fantasy football. That'll never, right there. Fantasy football champ, ESPN TC champ, and the sports guy. So
And a national champ.
Yeah, but you didn't do anything for that.
The worst thing about you being the fantasy football champion of 2023 is that you can have the absolute worst season in 2024, not even make the playoffs, and you're still the champion until you're not.
Yep.
That's the worst part of it. You're not even going to make the playoffs this year.
Ooh.
I'm calling it right now. I'm writing it down.
Wow. Keep that receipt. Oh, man.
Bobby Drew
misses the playoffs.
Wow. Playoffs?
Dave, you're not even going to be invited to the league, so. Anyway.
That's funny.
We'll continue the bracket talk here with what Brian wants to talk about. He's been probably itching the whole time to talk about this. I'll put it on the screen. I'm sure everybody is probably aware of it. But tonight, this is the pregame show. What's the countdown? How many hours or minutes we got left until tip-off here?
Well, it's supposed to be 9:20. It's supposed to be like 9:30. So who knows? Probably like an hour and a half, I'd say, before the first tip is done. And I'm going crazy. That's all I can say. I'm not going to have a voice tomorrow, I'm sure.
This is what we're looking at right here. The UConn versus Purdue NCAA championship game at 9:20 on TBS. The number one versus the number one. But there cannot be two number ones. Nope. There must be a loser. Whoa. What's going on here?
Why does that do that?
It does it all the time. There has to be a winner and there has to be a loser. And before we get off, we will all pick, I think I know who you guys are going to pick anyways, but we will all take our pick, but also give a score as well. And so, Brian, what do you want us to know about this championship game? You have approximately 45 seconds. Go.
Yeah, okay. Well, then, I'm not talking. Here's what I want everybody to know. Okay, this game is going to be amazing. They're talking about the big men, Zach Edey and Donovan Clingan. Now, those of you that don't know who the University of Connecticut is, Donovan Clingan wasn't even a starter last year. Adama Sanogo was UConn's starting center. Clingan was coming off the bench, playing like 12 minutes a game. The kid is now, he's like projected to be the number 3 pick in the draft because he's incredible. His footwork, his defense, everything. And everybody's talking about Zach Edey and how like he's so good and he's so dominant. Now, I've played organized basketball before. Zach Edey's footwork is terrible. He's slow. He's 7'4" and he brings the ball down to his ankles. So what does that mean? The little guys can reach down and when you're 7'4", hold the ball up. When you watch this game, watch how Clingan does it. When he gets a rebound, watch where the ball stays. Or if he's going to turn and shoot, watch where the ball is. Donovan Clingan they talk about, Clingan's never seen any size like this. So when has Zach Edey seen size? It's the same thing, but here's the difference. A supporting cast for UConn, which please everybody, if you've been watching the last 2 tournaments, UConn supporting cast is unbelievable. Plain and simple, the Purdue guards, a lawyer is like 6'3", and Braden Smith is like 6'2". Stephon Castle is 6'6". Tristan Newton is 6'5". Okay, then you bring in Diarra off the bench who can lock you down on defense. Okay, not only that, Edie's going to have to move. The every game he's played, he's camped out in the middle because nobody has big men. Well, if you take out Donovan Clingan and UConn decides to bring in Samson Johnson, it's a totally different game because he's an athletic 7-footer. He will run Edie off the gym. He's going to get in foul trouble. This is going to be the first time Edie's going to have foul trouble because Clingan's going to back him down. Then they can kick it out, and then Castle's going to come in and see he can block these guys that don't know how to drive. Well, UConn knows how to drive. They'll bring it to the hole. They're gonna go strong. I understand everybody thinks this is going to be like last night's game. Iowa had the player of the year. South Carolina had the better team. South Carolina won. Zach Edey is the player of the year. UConn has the better team. UConn's going to win. They cannot match up. Purdue can't match up. UConn has size. They have ability. They've been there. They're a constant motion. They're in constant motion. So Edey's going to be turning his head all over the place. They're going to have back cuts. They're going to have screens. They're going to come and they're going to set screens. And then Clingan is going to take Edey out. And then they're going to have these lobs. They're going to have lobs to Castle all day long. So I'm not too concerned about Zach Edey because if Zach Edey gets his, so if he gets 40, maybe they stay in it. But if dude scores in the 20s, UConn's winning this game by 15 or 20 points easily. I already see a blowout anyway because Zach Edey he's going to get tired. He's going to get tired. He's going to get bumped around. It's a different game. In his game that they had in the Final Four against NC State, DJ Burns is nice. Dude is 6'9". He's 6'9". Edey literally could have ate a bowl of soup off his head. Donovan Clingan is 7'1". He's bigger. He's more athletic than Edey. Edey is not athletic at all. He has to work on his footwork. He's going to have his little hook shot, and right there is going to be Clingan, so he's going to have his hands right there. Samson Johnson tries to back down. Samson Johnson is tall. He's long. He's got a 7'4" wingspan. So let's go. Let's see what happens. I mean, it's not going to be a battle of the big men because I think they're going to wash each other. It's going to be the supporting cast, and UConn by far is the best team. Guys, we're talking 11 wins in the last two NCAA tournaments by a minimum of 13 points. It's unheard of. It's total domination. This is the new dynasty. This is the new blue blood. This is UConn. Get used to it. It's going to be an amazing game to watch. And if everybody watched against Alabama, UConn, it was a tight game all throughout the game. And not one time did UConn get flustered. Like I'm watching these other teams that are playing UConn, and you can see they put their head down. UConn will score. They'll score. They'll score. You see them getting dejected. UConn just goes out there and they play. You know, you foul or you do something stupid like Tristan Newton coming down and jacking up 2 stupid threes in the first half. He goes and sits on the bench and they bring in Diarra. Hurley's not playing that. This is not hero ball. See, UConn, what it is, Zach Edey, he's like the center of everything. UConn has 5 starters that score double figures, average double figures. They have NBA talent on this team. So why do they say how to sit there and get all theirs when they know they're going to the pros anyway? You can either do that or you can get a chip like UConn and play together and still make your money and win a championship and be history. This is going to be history making. They've dominated more than any other team, like for the last 2 years. This could be history. So this is where we're at right now. And watch the game, watch the X's and O's, watch the back cuts, watch the screens, watch the ball movement. Just pay attention to the ball pressure that Stephon Castle puts on Braden Smith because he locked down Sears last game. He locked down that cat from Illinois. Everybody that they've played, they got the hardest bracket. UConn has the hardest bracket to get through. They lit everybody up. That's just what they do. They have the best coach in college basketball right now. Dan Hurley is him. We're gonna realize that he's the best coach. He's got the best program. They got a style. They play it. And like I've said all along, you can muck it. You can slow it down. They'll play slow. You can speed it up. They'll run with you. You can play inside. They'll come inside. You can play outside. They'll come outside. They are versatile. Doesn't matter. Alex Caravan comes out and gets 10 points in the first 8 minutes. They're going to ride it. Then he's not going to take another shot because Cam Spencer's going to get 8 points. Then he's not going to do anything. Then it's going to be Tristan Newton gets 9 points. Then Clingan's going to come and get 8 points. Then Castle's going to go. So who do you guard? Then they're going to bring in Samson Johnson. Then they're going to bring in Diarra. Then they'll bring in Stewart. Like this team goes 8 deep. And in college to go 8 deep, I mean, let's go. I'm trying to stay calm, boys, but I'm about to get hype right now. Look, I'm about to get hyper. I'm trying, but let's go, man. I see him. I see behind me. They got look at Zach Edey walking out now on the TV behind me. Look at that goofball. He knows right now it's over. They're done. He's walking out saying, "Man, we're playing for second. We're coming for you, Zach. Everybody, let's do it now. UCONN, UConn, all night, baby. Let's go."
All right. Thank you for that long and elaborate
Oh
deal.
my
I just
word!
want to point out, okay, I've been keeping track of things. UConn has been said 26 times. Edie has been said 31 times. Who is Zach Edey?
He's their big center. He's all they got.
For UConn?
No, he's on Purdue. He's their only hope. Like he's,
okay.
he's a big monster guy in the middle. The guy behind me over my shoulder.
Don't ask Brian any more questions. Don't ask Brian any more questions.
Yeah.
I appreciate
this is for me and you to figure out. All right.
Here's the deal. Brian, I appreciate your enthusiasm. I appreciate your knowledge. I hope you know Bible scripture better than all the sports. Okay? Because you are a guy that's just, it's in your head, you know, and it amazes me. You remind me of somebody I know that's just, we'll start talking about stuff and it just goes on and on. The detail that you get into is just wild.
And the really good thing about that, though, is thank the Lord I do know my Bible that good, because there was a time in my life I got convicted about that. Like, as much as you enjoy sports, you probably want to worship me a little more, Brian. Those are the words from the Lord above. And guess what? He checked my spirit, and I agree 100%. But I can worship and praise in church. So when it's time to worship, and praise in church, it is. But I'm going to get excited and I'm going to get hyped when it's my team. And I know for you guys, I know it's so hard because the fans, your teams that you're fans of, you don't get many championship opportunities. I mean, look at the clock on my wall. See that? And then look at the helmet over here. Over here. Yeah, there it is. I mean, and I'm a Lightning fan, so I mean, all I do is go for championships. I mean, no matter what team I like, I mean, it's like, so you guys, I know it's hard for you guys to understand the hype. I mean, Andrew, the shirt he's got on, the last time they won a championship, VCRs were $400. So he doesn't really know. And the only reason why Dave experienced the title with the Bucks is because they used Tom Brady, a former Patriot. So I mean, I can understand why there's not a lot of hype on your side.
Listen. I have seen greatness from the Green Bay Packers. We have one Super Bowl that I got to watch, and we did a whole lot of winning. Unfortunately, we didn't get the Super Bowl all the time. We got it one time in my lifetime. Well, technically two, but one that I remember and that I actually got to watch. But we've been a winning team for a long time, and I've appreciated that. And I'm so happy that we have Jordan Love. And speaking of basketball, Zach Edey is probably the big name if you don't know basketball. If you know basketball like Brian, there's many other big names. But for people like me, Zach Edey's the big name going into the game tonight. So Purdue versus UConn. I'm going to read some stats here. So right now, UConn is averaging 81.6 points a game, which is 12.8 more points per game than what Purdue usually gives up. They usually give up 68.8. Purdue has shot 48.9% from the field for the entire season, which is 9.8% higher than 39.1% of the shooting opponents that UConn has averaged. So there's a lot of cross-referencing here to where UConn scores more than what Purdue usually gives up, and Purdue shoots better than what UConn usually allows other teams to shoot. So it's going to be interesting to see. In the last 10 games, the Huskies have gone 10-0, averaging 81.4 points, 40 rebounds, and 21 assists, and 5 steals and 5 blocks per game, while shooting 50% from the field. and their opponents have averaged 62 points per game. Hey, Dave, pop quiz for you. I'll upgrade your top 5 wide receiver list if you can get this right. What is Purdue's mascot?
I don't even care. Listen, I'm just sitting. I've stopped listening to you guys. I'm over here dreaming of the NFL draft and preseason and when the season starts and fantasy football. I'm so sick of these stupid college. Oh, God, it's ridiculous.
Anyways, so it's the Purdue Boilermakers.
Bro, you can't just mute my microphone while I'm not even paying attention. There are so many teams. I can't even keep track of them.
Dave,
I can't.
I'm trying to read stats.
This is terrible.
The Purdue Boilermakers are 9-1 in the last 10 games.
What is a Boilermaker?
They make boilers. They average 77.6 points per game in the last 10 games, 40 rebounds, 19 assists. So that's crazy. Oh, wait, no, I'm reading it wrong. Never mind. So 19 assists, 4.6 steals, 3.1 blocks per game, shooting 48.3% from the field. And their opponents have averaged 65 points in the last 10 games. So really, it really is, statistically, it is a very even matchup stats-wise. Dave.
Let me talk.
Go.
The Purdue, their mascot is the Boilermaker Special. It's a train. That is the dumbest thing.
That's why they've never won a title, and they're not about.
How you can't be like a husky? Yeah.
Hey,
shoot your face off.
Brian, while you were talking, this is what Joe put it in the comments.
I almost fell asleep. Joseph,
he said time for a nap.
Well, if he doesn't nap, he won't make it through the whole game.
Oh man!
Oh wow!
Hey Dave, do me a favor real quick. Are you on your phone?
Yeah, I'm on my phone. What do you want?
I put up a poll on TikTok asking people who was going to win the game. Was it going to be?
I already clicked it. I hit Purdue.
I know, but
UConn.
Oh, you hit UConn. I wanted to see what the final results were. I can't remember. I know UConn was up. They were in the lead on that. So, with that being said, we're going to make our picks, and we're going to pick the points, what we think the score will be when the buzzer goes. All right.
First?
Yes. Do you want me to repeat the averages to you?
No. I've already got this. I already know.
All right. What's your pick, Dave?
UConn is going to win 86-62.
Wow.
Oh, my.
It's going to be a blowout, son. You know why?
Why?
Because of all that stuff Brian was saying a little while ago. All these shorties on the team, except for Edie in the middle, who's big and tall. But everybody else, they're too short. They can't keep up with UConn. UConn goes 8 deep.
Listen, you guys can laugh at the funny guy, ESPN Tournament Challenge champ, but he listens. He pays attention, man. I'm proud of him.
Good job,
bro. Listen, I just want to say this. Would you all freak out if I nailed the score? If it turns out to be like that, bro, I will forever be the champion.
Because you said it. If you nailed the score, I'm gonna buy you a UConn repeat championship shirt, and I'll send it to you. I'm serious. Okay.
Take on it.
All right. No doubt, 100%.
That was probably one of the weirdest things I've ever seen on camera.
So, what did you say the score was going to be?
86-62.
So that's a 24-point spread. I'll tell you what, I'll give you 20. Even if it's within 20, I'll buy you a shirt because I appreciate you following my boys. I'm feeling juju right now, man. Makes me want to work out right now. I'm feeling like
careful your voice. Your voice. You need to drink some hot tea
Brian.
With some lemon and some honey.
I'm trying.
Hey, Brian, give me your pick and your score.
All right. It's been tough. I've been battling this for the whole tournament. I didn't know who I should go with. So I'm going to go with the UConn Huskies. And I'm going to take UConn 83, Purdue 68, just because UConn's going to bring in their scrubs because they're going to get by 20-something. And we're going to bring in all the little guys that don't really play. And Danny Hurley's kid, Andy, is going to dribble the ball out like he always does. And he's going to throw the ball in the air. And I'm going to be going crazy. Yeah!
Oh, man. Oh, man.
We're not far off on the scores here either.
No, we're not. No, we're not.
I'm going to watch this game.
I'm telling you, man, you need to pray, Dave, because you get that score right, bro. You got a T-shirt coming.
I got some merch on my way.
I'm telling you, boy. And then next week we both can be holding the shirts up. Yeah, let's go. Now we'll see what Bobby does because he picked Creighton to win. I told him as soon as he did that, well, you ain't watch no college basketball either, Creighton.
Creighton.
Came up. No, that's not what came up. You picked them. Terrible pick.
Ridiculous. F.
Speaking of merch, we do have merch.
Get that off of here.
Buy some merch.
Please
I am making my pick solely based off opposing you two. So in my mind, I believe UConn is going to win. But just for competition's sake, I'm going to pick the Purdue Boilermakers. And if Purdue's going to win, it's not going to be by much. So they will have. They're not. I don't believe they'll be able to stop the offense of UConn. So they're going to have to match it. So it's going to be a little bit high scoring. I'm going to go. I'm going to say Purdue 76-73.
Oh, brother. Listen, let me tell you where you're wrong, Bobby Drew, because Purdue has got a bunch of shorties on their team. Did you listen to anything that Brian was saying earlier?
I did.
No, you did not. We've got UConn. We go 8 deep, okay?
Stop saying we.
Off
Dave.
the bench, bro.
Stop saying we, man.
Off the bench, bro. We're scoring off the bench.
Dave,
okay. What does Purdue have? They got Edie. Okay. Good for Edie. We appreciate Edie. Okay. But it's a team sport, bro. He can't do everything. Okay. He's not Tom Brady. Okay. All right. He's not the GOAT.
Oh my God. You're right. Caitlin Clark.
Yeah. You saw how well it worked for Caitlin Clark, too. They lost.
Bro, listen, Caitlin Clark. Boom. Hey, this might be the first college basketball game I ever watch. I am so excited I'm getting pumped about it, Brian.
Yeah, boy.
Give me on FaceTime. We're gonna watch this thing later.
You, man, I will. I'll be like, Dave, I feel that shirt coming your way. Let's go.
Hey, Dave, can you name one player off of UConn without Brian's help? Without Brian's help?
Brian, who do we got? Who's our power?
Castle. We got Hassan Diarra, Stefan. You want me to keep going?
Yeah, let's go 8 deep.
You got Samson Johnson.
Samson Johnson.
Stewart, Donovan
that guy.
Clingan. Oh, by the way, Donovan Clingan, the big guy in the middle for UConn.
Clingan.
30 minutes from where I grew up, Bristol to Manchester. Let's go UConn. We're talking Connecticut. Now, 30 minutes from my hometown is where my boy, number 32 on UConn, grew up.
Practically neighbors. Okay.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
Oh,
Joe in the comments. Oh, over here. Joe in the comments says 86-72 UConn.
I like it, Joe. I like it.
All right.
Well, as the night goes on, Brian, send me some clips of you and your family celebrating or crying, being angry. Send me clips of how they need to fix the game. Stuff like that. And Dave, if you end up watching, I would love to have your input as well. And as soon as you guys send me those, I will do my best to post those. Somebody in the comments, which we didn't cover yet, Hurley, next UK coach.
That's my neighbor. No, John, Hurley ain't going anywhere. He's not leaving UConn. He's not going anywhere. It'll be believe it or not, look at Nate Oates from Alabama, the team that just played UConn. He may end up going to UK.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that, but you're right.
Yeah,
he'll probably go to UK.
Yep, see, Dave knows what he's talking about. He does.
No. The next head coach The next head coach for the UK will be Mike Vrabel.
He is looking for work. he does need a job.
He's still unemployed.
Oh my goodness, that's funny.
Well, all right, y'all. Tip-off is in about an hour, so we're gonna end it here. Hey, Brian, who wrote them down? Read us back our predictions.
Okay, well, I have 83 to 68. Dave, you had 86 to 62, correct?
Yep.
And Bobby Drew had 76-73 Purdue.
Wrong.
All right.
All right, so I got them written down. And everybody out there, send some juju Dave's way, man. He's wanting that shirt.
I'll wear it.
You want a
shirt?
You know
what? Just because. I don't even care what the score is, Dave. If UConn wins by 20, whatever the score is, I'm sending you a shirt so you can rep my boys.
That's right.
All right.
I'll text you my address.
There you go.
If you guys want a real shirt, buy one of these.
You can buy one of those too, but yeah.
The link's in the description. Get one of those. Dave, show them what you got.
Yeah, show them, Dave. It's a nice shirt.
It's the Bobby Drew
in the hat,
shirt. It's the mug. Yep. It's the coffee.
Dave, question: do you wash that shirt?
Yeah, I wash it in between when I wear it. I wear this shirt once a week. Every Monday night, I wear this shirt, and then it'll go in the laundry. And then next Monday, be ready to go for me.
Clean and ready to go.
Clean.
Well, next Monday, we will be talking about the championship game and what we saw. Other than that, that's all we got here tonight. I'll let you guys end it. Give me the UConn chant. You guys ready? I'll count it down. You guys do it together. This is all we got. God bless y'all. 3, 2, 1, go.
UCON.
UConn.